What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into the restricted section with Temper. So the restricted section benefits melee characters pretty much from being able to group enemies into really tight spaces. Temper specifically, because he has a number of area abilities, benefits very much from that, and because of it, you would probably do very well to include traps that deal damage over large areas efficiently. There's a few things that you can do that with. So we should set up some of those. You guys can have a look-see. We're going to bring Insane Arcane Sail. Maybe not. Maybe we will just go with the Smashing Deals because we can use our Swinging Mace. Not too many locations to place it, but the ones where you can are very good. We're going to bring a Spitfire. You want to bring a wall trap other than the Spitfire. You have arrow walls, grinders, or wall blades, of course. Usually I go with the grinders, mainly because the main thing you want to be careful with whenever you're playing any sort of melee hero, due to limitations in attack range and of course mobility, is you need to be prepared for runners. And then lastly, we'll bring a ballista of some kind because this map has some very unique places to place them that are actually quite good. So for the most part, that's pretty solid. And none of the other stuff here really makes that big a difference. We have the traits, of course: Wall Building PhD, Bear Hugs, Fire Sale, and the Smashing Deals. So let's go ahead, hop into this. Here we go.
What a lovely day. Too bad I gotta use it killing stuff.
Temper's hilarious because he's sort of like very interesting
Watch out for
I was about to say passive, but that's not the right word. Pacifist. There we go. I have no idea why I could not think of that word right now. But he basically doesn't really want to hurt anybody. He's just a really lovable guy that wants to get back to crafting his stuff.
Howdy, y'all.
But these dang orcs just won't let him.
Let the trap do the killing. Well, I don't have to.
So, no, we can move this over. It's not that big a deal.
Why can't everyone just be friends?
Alright, so this is basically the starting setup. Nothing super crazy yet, but you get the ability to place some pretty ridiculous stuff later on.
They've broken through a gate.
It's important to understand that the stable hand here gives you some pretty significant mobility options, things that you might be able to do here you wouldn't be able to do without them. Mainly chasing down runners and getting back and forth between points where you have to destroy unstable rifts. If you want to try to 5-star the game with each character specifically, preparation with certain traps or equipment is probably going to be a must. But you don't have to 5-star everything with everybody, unless you're just like some sort of crazy completionist. I'm not, but you know, some people are, and nothing wrong with that. Okay.
This will protect our rift. I always like making trap parts. Not so much.
Unstable rift is opening. Quick, destroy it.
Okay, so that is actually going to give us a bad starting location for this rift. If you have some rage, feel free to hammer slam those. It'll save you a bit of time. And as I mentioned in other videos, Temper, because he has a non-standard resource mechanic, gets a discount of 60% off on all resource using gear. So he loses 8 rage for the firewall bracers and I believe 20 for the ring of lightning. a ring of storms. That's important to understand because if you're trying not to blow up, you'll kind of need to be able to keep that under control. You already placed that. Okay, so one last barricade to place. Maybe two. This one is mandatory. This one is not. So 7 barricades, that's pretty much all you need on this map. You could do it with less, but it would make the pathing less concentrated. And if you're trying to go for speed, which in survival you should, that's how you get the 5th star. But the speed will actually increase your score too, so that's important. Alright. So the good thing about melee heroes is their attacks actually check for enemies being in certain spaces rather than you having to actually visually confirm it. So when a physics effect happens, if a character is actually within the area, they're just going to take damage. And that makes it so that melee heroes deal with physics a little bit better than ranged ones, where you're guessing where they are after the physics effects, and then the game sort of fills you in. If you manage to hit them, then yay. If not, then oh well.
A boss is on its way.
Actually, let me not spend coin here where I don't need it yet. Let me just go ahead and thrash this boss. So you want to trigger his slam attack. And then we're just going to happy place out of there so we don't have to worry about dying. And we couldn't get him out before he actually managed to slam again. So he did disable our Spitfire there, which is going to lose us a bit of coin and some combo points. But that's alright. Alright, so let's go ahead and start preparing this other area while Mr. Chicken Chaser there does his job.
Keep the rib safe. That looks like it could hurt somebody.
Enemies incoming! They've broken through on another front! They've broken through a gate!
I hope no one gets hurt.
Alright, so this should be a pretty solid defense here. I believe after this wave we get a random unstable rift though. Depending on where it spawns, it can be annoying. But you basically want it to be as close to here as possible so that you can get some solid fighting in. Especially since moving between locations as a melee hero literally means losing damage. And always keep your HP topped off. As a melee hero, that's super important. Whenever you have a mechanic that will give you your HP back, make sure you take advantage of it. And there we go. Ah, managed to hit it.
And our heroes destroyed the unstable rift.
Okay.
And there was much rejoicing.
Everyone be careful.
For the enemies that aren't going to be going that way, let me make sure that they feel it.
Gotta keep the rib safe. Throw that trap on the seat. Like this here spot. Wait till mom and dad see how strong I am.
Alright, while Temper doesn't have a ton of HP, he can still tank much better than any ranged hero. I'm not going to take the set-off Weaver, even though usually it's the best, because I am not using anything that would make it worthwhile.
The rib will be it gone. Let the trap do the killing. Why I don't have to.
Alright. So tempers base attacks because of their damage increases from his rage. Rage comes in 3 levels. There's the 0 to 100 point, where he just does his regular damage. Then there's the... Ooh. After you get over 100, you get a bit more effects added to his damage. And I believe the last hit hits harder. And I know when you get to the last tier, like between 200 and 250, you actually deal more damage on all attacks. Alright, so that's 1348, 1374, and then, ooh. Looks like there may be a little bit of randomness in there too. But now we're at near the critical point. Okay. So now we're going to be dealing with this gate. Not a particularly dangerous one, but you want to be careful.
Enemies have broken through again.
I always like making trap parts.
They've broken through a gate.
No. There trap, everywhere trap, trap.
Alright, we sort of have our crazy damage setup going here. We'll want to put a slow right here just to maximize everything. But you can see how most of the damage being dealt here is very automatic. That's basically what we're going for. If you have to jump in and actually fight anything, then we've essentially failed at the setup. Now, you can have to fight a little bit just because of, you know, lowered trap levels, but at the same time, ooh, anytime you don't seem happy, use your happy place and get out of there.
Our barricades are under attack.
That we definitely want to stay away from. Alright, let us hop over here. Alright.
The unstable rift has been destroyed.
Do not want unstable rifts popping off over here. It can sometimes make things very unpleasant. That said, we want to put one more slow here, and then everything else will be ballistas around here. And that will pretty much be the map. We can add a few more things down here that'll be destructive. But the main thing to establish first here is always going to be the pathing. Once the pathing is in place, there are much fewer issues to worry about from all gates. And you can set up traps, of course, to take care of enemies as you see fit, once you're aware of where they'll be.
Beware, intruder. You will pay for this.
Okay. We want to make sure that enemies have a harder time getting through there. If you're really worried about this area, you can just go ahead and bull rush them. As long as nobody magically appears over your barricades there, you'll be fine. For a moment it did look like some enemies would have made it through here, but of course they did not.
Vermillion.
This'll protect our rift.
This boss is Lysander. He's going to actually be quite easy because of the fact that he goes in a pack and whoa,
Destroy the unstable rift.
wasted that. I should have burned some gear.
The enemy's boss is dead.
There we go. Temper's final hit on his combo does a ton of damage. So if you are trying to deal with your enemies using it, make sure you give yourself enough time to actually pull off the third hit. Even if it means swapping between enemies. And here's where the whole shebang kind of comes together. Oh, you get explosive dudes at the top now. Now everything that we set up there essentially forces them to die before they get anywhere important. One of the things that I could have done that I did not was set up a barricade on the right side of these stairs to prevent these guys from really getting anywhere. Our boss is coming from the bottom right now, but I believe he's a dread. Not really that dangerous. However, I did not set up my ceiling traps, and because of that,
The enemy's boss is down.
we're gonna have a bit more time. We were supposed to actually do something. Oh geez, the awnings basically screwed it up. I didn't even place them in here like I could have.
That looks like it could hurt some. Well, another victory won. Now I'm gonna pack up my hammers.
That would have actually prevented me from having to run in there as often, which would have been nice. Either way, works out. Though the ballista are definitely more important there than something like that swinging mace was. Well, almost matched the traps and damage there. So that just goes to show the strength of AoE abilities and the tight spaces the Temper was in. There was a lot of situations where enemies would clump up around the Guardian and you could just slam all of them. But that is going to be the restricted section. We will be heading into the Midnight Market. And I think this will be the first run that I've done in the Midnight Market with a character, a melee character, besides Elin, first of all. Actually, I don't even think I've done this with Elin. Oh, yeah, I have. Alright. Short-term memory? Bad. But, yeah, we get to do this again. And this should be fun because Temper has a few advantages here that other people don't. Like, mainly really high bursty melee damage on his primary attack, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that another time. Either way, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, feel free to, drop some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're looking for or what you still want to see in the game. And as always, until next time, have a good one, folks.